There are times when you hear a song and you just know like something is different. Like the world is different than it was before you heard that song. One of my favorite examples is my ex-father-in-law talking about driving through New York City. I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles came on the radio. He pulled over the car and started crying and was just like, this is it. This is the moment. Or I remember being in the back seat of my friend Ben's car. We picked up OK Computer by Radiohead the day it came out at midnight, and we heard this first song, Airbag, and we were all just like, well, that's that. Like we understood this was a major moment, a major cultural shift happening in just one song. The most recent example is Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. I told this story in my video, but it bears repeating, okay? So I'm a very busy man. I at that point, I had a 1.5-year-old. My wife was very pregnant at the point. And I was listening to, I was just listening to music, and then I get all these notifications that there's a new Kendrick song. So at that point, my 2-year-old, my 1.5-year-old was probably playing with blocks or something, I don't know what, stuffed animals maybe. And I need to go change a diaper. So I have to go upstairs, and I see the song's on. And so I put on my headphones and I start listening to it. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, this is, okay, all right, this is pretty catchy. Like all these things are going through my head. Like, what does it mean that this is such a catchy song? What does it mean that this is not Meet the Grams, which was the last thing I heard? Like what does that mean? And I remember very specifically opening up the child gate to go up the stairs, holding on to my 1.5-year-old kid and hearing the words, try to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. And I laughed so hard. I wasn't that close to dropping my 1.5-year-old, but I was closer than I should have been. And in that laugh, I was confused. That was the moment of understanding, like something is happening. Something really, 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 really big is happening in this one moment in A minor. And I'm laughing about something so terrible, and I'm dancing to something so terrible, and it's so infectious, and it's so impossible. And 274 days later, I'm watching clips of the Grammys. Okay, I got a busy life. I can't watch all that. But I'm watching clips of the Grammys. And I watched the moment where it wins Song of the Year, where it beats out Billie Eilish, where it beats out Taylor Swift, every other of the titans of the Grammys. The entire Peacock Theater, which is located inside of Crypto is a Scam Perpetrated by the Rich.com arena. They just changed its name, by the way. It's Crypto is a Scam Perpetrated by the Rich.com arena. You should check it out. It's a great place. Inside that theater of 13,000 people, which, by the way, is the number of voters who voted. Okay, 13,000 voters, 13,000 people inside the Peacock Theater. The entire place is filled. And as Kendrick Lamar walks up to the stage, all 13,000 people in unison sing A minor. They were there with me on the stairs. Next week is going to be the Super Bowl. It's going to be held in the Superdome. Any dome is your home if you can afford it. It's going to be in the Superdome. Max capacity, 76,468 people. 123 million people at least are going to be watching it on TV in America. 62 more million internationally. Every single one of those almost 200 million people and 77,000 people in person are all going to be with me on those stairs singing A minor. What does it all mean? I love watching commentary about Kendrick, much like you do. That's why you're watching this. Rob Markman and Wayno both declared this the best diss song in history. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to say it's in the running for the most important rap song of all time. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who is not of hip-hop culture. Hip-hop culture is created by and for Black Americans, and I'm American, but obviously I'm not Black. So my expertise is not coming from the culture, it's coming as an academic, okay? I just got done teaching my class on hip-hop culture and rap music, okay? I do study the art form with a lot of intensity, with a lot of care, with a lot of love, but I acknowledge that there are things that I cannot understand about this art which I describe. Okay. That being said, why am I making this claim that it's the most important rap song of all time? Why break it down to 4 factors, which you can see printed very, very small up there? Number 1, artistic value. And this song has unquestioned artistic value, not only in how simple and how effective it is as a catchy song, how well made it is, but it also contains perhaps the verse of the year, a historical verse that is like unheard of. And cultural impact, I'm going to get more of that later. That's, I think, its most important aspect, but its cultural impact in terms of its impact on hip-hop culture, unquestioned. Commercial ubiquity. That's the third factor I'm thinking of when I'm factoring in what makes the most important rap song of all time. I think it has to be big. It can't just be great. It has to be big. And this is obviously, of all the accolades I could have picked, the fastest rap song to 700 million streams. Who cares, right? But just, it's been on the chart since it came out. It was number one. It continues to be number one. It continues to be top 10 at least. And then it's the fourth one that was made clear yesterday. Institutional acceptance. Now, this is very tricky because when I'm talking about institutional acceptance, I'm mostly talking about the acceptance of the white superstructure that exists in this country, okay? So it's a complicated idea, but it does matter. I think it does matter when we're talking about how important a song is, how much of an impact it has on the world. Institutional acceptance is a part of that. Leading up to the Grammys, I watched many great, I think Rap Latte had a video about it. I think Mark, a whole bunch of people had videos about we, meaning Black Americans, hip hop Americans, don't care about the Grammys because Grammys don't care about us, okay? Not me, us, but them, us, right? And it makes sense because rap, the Grammys suck. Who cares about the Grammys? The Grammys are pointless. They're just going to give it to Post Malone and Taylor Swift, and if Post Malone doesn't release an album, they'll just give him the Grammy anyway, But somehow, it went 5 for 5. How many stocks does he have in stock? 5 plus 5. Was it 5 songs and then 5 Grammys? I don't know what. Somehow he swept the categories. This week was evidence of complete and total institutional acceptance. And then next week, it is taken to a different level of institutional acceptance. This has never been done by any artist ever. U2 played the Super Bowl, in 2001? It's not like they had a number one hit that then won a Grammy and then they performed that song at the Super Bowl. No song ever has had this kind of run. No song ever has had this kind of run in American pop music history. No song. You find me the song. You tell me in the comments, and I will say, like you kids like to say, cap. Now, to be important, though, it's not all this stuff. It's not enough, okay? Okay? Artistic value, it's not enough. Cultural impact, it's not enough. Commercial ubiquity, it's not enough. Institutional acceptance, it's not enough. It has to do all those things, plus it has to do something. It has to do something in terms of shifting either hip-hop culture or the mainstream culture or something, especially in the interaction between hip-hop culture and mainstream culture. So I'm going to do my little job as a rap scholar, if I can be so bold to call myself that, despite the fact I got my doctorate in 17th century French literature, to talk about some songs through history that might stake the claim. Let's put this in battle with the other songs that match this criteria, which I have created out the top of my head, and you might have different criteria, and you might say, F this guy, he's not even wearing a tie, let's get rid of him, okay? That's fine, we're all good. But if you're with me, let's roll, okay? Obviously, you have to start with the beginning. I don't own a Sugar Hill Gang CD, but that is the first track on here, Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. That has to be on there. It fulfills all 4 categories quite nicely. Before Sugar Hill Gang was released, nobody wanted to make rap songs, okay? Sylvia Robinson of Sugar Hill Records tried to get the real rappers, tried to get Love Bug to record a rap verse, tried to record a rap song. And everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? You can't make money. No, we only make money playing parties. So she used her brains and her connections to New Jersey to create the first rap song. It'll be hard to dethrone that. And one important thing here, I'm talking about songs, not albums or artists. Kanye West does not feature on this list. Jay-Z, Tupac, Nas, some of the most consequential artists that you might say in terms of albums and in terms of their very presence. Jesus, I gotta stop saying very. I sound so obnoxious when I call something their very presence. I sound like the goddamn timekeeper. By their presence, by their albums. So they're not on there. Sugar Hill Gang is the first people to think to make a rap song. Then, of course, you have to go 3 years later to the second big commercial hit for rap music, The Message, which was made by, if you read this very carefully, it says Duke Booty and Grandmaster Melly Mel. Okay? That's who it should say whenever you're reading about The Message, because Grandmaster Flash had nothing. I wrote the message as much as Grandmaster Flash wrote the message, okay? You wrote it as much as Grandmaster Flash wrote it, okay? But obviously the message itself, 1982, was a concrete example that rap could exist. It wasn't just a one-hit song, just, a funny thing that some kids in the Bronx do, and we'll just kind of laugh at it. It wasn't just that, okay? It was evidence that there was real intention. It was the first political rap song, to make a difference. It did so much sonically. It did everything, okay? It was everywhere. It had that commercial ubiquity. It was accepted by the institutions. It was artistic, and it was cultural, right? And then we get to what I call the FTP pairs, okay? 1989, we have Fuck the Police by NWA, which showed the form of, rebellion that was easily co-opted. It's very complex. Straight Outta Compton's a very complex album to study. But Fuck the Police is a great example of one of the most powerful songs in the history of rap music in terms of all those things by a group which would somehow end up ushering in the co-opting of the culture itself. It's very complex. But then within a year, we have Fight the Power off of Do the Right Thing. Fight the Power is this is more in hindsight that these two, I think you could put them together as these two very important songs with great cultural import, with great artistic value and ubiquity and importance. And Public Enemy really showed what's going to happen to rap music, what can rap music do. I think the next song I'm going to include might be a little bit scandalous because I'm not including Nas, but I am including MC Hammer, okay? Please, Hammer, don't hurt him, all right? Can't Touch Us by MC Hammer. By the way, my colleague Curtis King has this whole thing, Justice for Ja Rule. Can we have justice for Hammer? He produced the whole goddamn album. He's not just some guy set up by some suit somewhere to be a hit maker. He's the real deal. It's not his fault he was popular and he knows how to dance. Anyways, Can't Touch This. That showed the absolute commercial potential of rap music in a way that no other song could. Of course, we would have, within a couple of months, Ice Ice Baby would be released, which would show something different as well. But we had all these fascinating moments that just seismic shift, total institutional acceptance. We're talking commercials on TV, appearing in movies, all over the place, everywhere, completely mainstream in rap if it hadn't already been. I would also throw on Juicy by B.I.G. in 1994. I lost my copy of Ready to Die, so I'm going to go to Record Archive and buy another one sometime soon. I think that showed a lot of the crossover possibility. It brought in a level of lyricism and also the idea that rap music could be made with more of a female audience in mind in a way that I know. I could have included I Need Love by LL Cool J on here, but I think this had a bigger long-term impact than I Need Love. So anyways, we'll let them share that. Okay, I'd say My Name Is by Eminem. I don't own Eminem's first album. Sorry, still don't own it. Had that same level of impact and importance, especially in terms of the existence of white rappers. And then I would say there'd be a 20-year break until the next song that had that kind of seismic shift impact. I'm not saying there weren't albums. I thought about putting, maybe Jesus Walks on here, or maybe, A Milli by Lil Wayne, like songs that really pushed the culture, really pushed the art form in a different direction, but it didn't hit on all four cylinders, like I'm talking about up here, in terms of artistic, cultural, commercial, and institutional. So I'd say Old Town Road is the next song, 2019 by Lil Nas X. It showed this great shift. It reflected this shift. It reflected the internetization of hip-hop culture and rap in a way that had been happening over a long period of time. Complete institutional embracing. It sold super well. I suppose its thinnest connection is its cultural impact and its cultural relevance, but that is beyond not me to discuss. So those are my entrants. Those are who I think are fighting Not Like Us as the most important rap song of all time. Okay, realistically, I don't know how you're going to unseat Rapper's Delight and The Message. I don't know if it's possible to have a single song that does as much. But let's think about what Not Like Us has actually done. I don't like how small this is up here. Okay, let's think about what it's done in terms of these four things. Okay, in particular, the cultural relevance. Depending on how this year goes, depending how next year goes, it's possible that we will say that Not Like Us literally saved rap culture. I'm not saying hip hop culture. I'm saying rap culture. Is it a coincidence? Is it a funny thing that Kendrick got up there and gave his second speech and said the following: "At the end of the day, nothing is more powerful than rap music. I don't care what it is." He is up there stunting on Billie Eilish, on Taylor Swift, on the entire Grammy Academy that has just been looking over and ignoring hip hop as much as feasible for as long as possible. And he's getting up there and saying, this art form that I do is better than all of you. Nothing is more powerful. Not country, not rock, not indie, not instrumental contemporary. Sorry, instrumental contemporary. You're working hard out there. I support you. You know? I don't care what it is. He got up there and he didn't diss Drake. He dissed all other art forms that are not rap music. And then he follows up. We are the culture. It's going to stay here and live forever. Obviously, he's talking about things to which I can only understand but not participate. He is saying directly a pro-black statement. We are the culture. It's going to always stay here and live forever. As Punch would tell young artists, he gives this advice to young artists: respect the art form, it will get you where you need to go. In this speech, he's making it clear that this little catchy thing, this catchy diss song against Drake, is not just some goofy-ass song where he's trying to take out Drake. It is about the power of rap music, and somehow he knew it. I knew it when I was walking up the goddamn stairs and almost dropped my baby hearing A minor. I understood it. We all understood it. All of us understood it. That's what the song was going to do. And it did it. I might be speaking grandiose. We'll see what happens next year, the year after. But there's a real chance that he is putting Black Americans back in the center of commercial rap music. Obviously, they've always been at the center of creation, always been the center of the culture, but with a Canadian with sort of decidedly, with a lot of abstraction from Black American culture and perhaps a lack of appreciation or respect towards it, that is being taken away. The speeches that he gave were the Heart Part 6, his Heart Part 6, but in a speech form. He wasn't taking this time to say Drake is bad and Drake likes kids and blah, blah, blah. No. No, he's saying what matters. What matters is rap culture, the culture, Black people, and Compton, and all this regional space, right? Because that's one of the artistic things he was able to do, was rebirth regionalism in rap music, which has become so de-regionalized because most of the time it's been a Canadian hanging around with dudes from Atlanta. That's what's been mainstream rap for the past 3,000 years. How many thousands of years has it just been Atlanta and Canada? You know, this song, what does it do? It does all those things, and it is the Drakeotomy. And it's not what Drake is. It's not who he is. It's what he represents. It is the Drakeotomy, the removing of Drake. You know, it's funny because, you know, he wore an all denim suit, and a lot of people are commenting, you know, shout out to Jeremy Hecht, Winnipeg's finest, who mentioned that a full denim suit is called a Canadian tuxedo. And so, okay, so maybe he's dissing him. One level deeper, though, you come to me for the good commentary. It's also an homage to one of LA's biggest superstar, Jay Leno, who only dresses in denim. So I think Kendrick Lamar is not taking a shot at Drake. I think he's just saying how much he appreciates Jay Leno. When we think about the institutional acceptance of this song, did you see it? You have to watch it. He stands up and they play this song. They could have picked any point of the song to play, but they play the beginning. And of course, they have to bleep out, fuck them up. They have to bleep out, fuck them up. Do you know what they didn't bleep out? Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. They kept in the word that I just said that's going to get me demonetized. Smash like bucket, subscribe, AVA stands for awesome videos always. I always heard a comment that says that. Join my Patreon, all that stuff, okay? That's what wasn't censored. That's how complete the Drakeotomy is. And next week, with those millions of people, those hundreds of millions of people watching and singing along, it had to be this fierce. You know, everyone's calling it a victory lap. How many victory laps is this man going to have? How many? The video, the pop out, the Grammys, the album, the Super Bowl announcement, the Super Bowl. I'm missing a few. I'm missing, like, how many victory laps is he going to do? But he needs to, because Drake and what Drake represents, not so much him, but what he represents is a fierce monster, is a multi-headed hydra that needs to have all 10 of its necks stepped upon and snapped under a size 7 shoe, okay? You just need to keep stepping on them. Stepping, step, snap, step, snap, step, snap. And that's what he has to keep doing. And that's what we see when we're in the middle of the most industry space, and the most industry rapper that has ever industried is sitting there, and all 13,000 people are singing in chorus. In case you're going to say here, oh, Skye, you're just a glazer, I glaze art, not the person. Kendrick Lamar is wonderful, but I'm talking about art and culture and humanity. That's what this is a victory for. And also, Dave Free won for the video. The video was great. How amazing is it that an actually great music video that was made, that was so loose and funny and interesting and dynamic, won? I mean, what a great triumph for art. Shout out to Absolutely. Go watch her videos if you don't watch her stuff. But don't act a fool and go in there and say, I sent you, because that really bugs her. But you should go see her stuff. She does great stuff. She was just talking about Dave Free and the fact that, Dave Free was directly mentioned by Drake in his disses, and that was his big trump card. That was his red button, was trying to break apart this friendship. But again, it's the Heart Part 6 over and over again. Kendrick took the chance for the Heart Part 6 where he could have dissed Drake as hard as possible, and instead he just gave a shout out to Ab-Soul and Schoolboy Q and J-Rock and Dave Free and all the people that make the culture. At this point, we have to wonder if Drake is Kendrick's hype man. Is he just the hype man? Because the lawsuit added a whole different angle to the Not Like Us thing that I was not ready for. It's now making this song, which is the #1 song of the year and wins all the Grammys, an underdog. Because we're wondering, are they going to play it? Are they going to play it? Is it going to win? Is it going to manage to win despite the fact that everybody's worried that acknowledging it might get you sued by Drake's legal team? He's building up suspense. He is putting as much of a hyper focus on this one song as you can possibly do. You can either sue or you can win. So that's all the song did. Would Doechii have won without Not Like Us? I'm goddamn serious. I am serious. Would Rhapsody have finally won a Grammy? Rhapsody and Doechii win a Grammy. Completely merited, but how many great artists don't get what they deserve? Like, this is, time will tell, okay? Maybe 2 years, this video will be stupid. Maybe 2 years, Drake will have like 5 #1 hits and we'll just be back to where we were. Just Drake and Thug releasing a song called, I don't know, Rico Gang, and it's super popular and everyone loves it, and we're just back to the party again. The party didn't die, it was just waiting till Kendrick got bored. I don't know what. But to me, what I see is a change. I see a shift. And the fact that Doechii won is a great sign of that. Side note, come on, y'all. She should have won too. I love Not Like Us, but Nissan Altima was the best rap performance last year. You can come at me, but have you heard that song? Have you listened to that rapping? I teach a class on rap music and hip-hop culture, so I don't make it, so I'm no expert. I don't know, but Jesus Christ, that is a great performance, still. I love that Mustard's here. I love the regionalism. It is a political rap song that hit #1. And once again, Post Malone didn't win a fucking thing. That piece of shit Vulture, that little fake ass, every single one of his face tattoos is fake, by the way. He wakes up and pays someone $3 million a year to apply them because they're fake. And his gold teeth are made out of chiclets, okay? He's an absolute fake and a fraud and a culture vulture, and he, by all rights, should have won. By all rights, he should have won. Taylor Swift and Post Malone, that's the bullshit that we've been buying. And some, but I love Taylor Swift, by the way. Taylor Swift is great. She deserves all the success she has. But putting on Taylor Malone like that, Post Malone, that's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. Everything about Post Malone is unforgivable. And he lost. Is he going to come back? Is Drake going to come back? Or is Doechii going to win next year? Or is GNX going to win? Or is Kendrick's other album that's coming out this year going to win? Mark it. It's happening. I'm positive. I'm positive now. I wasn't positive later. I'm positive now. We'll have to see. We'll have to see next week. Shout out again to Rob Markman, who puts forth the idea that he's going to create a different verse for Not Like Us, which is just perfect. That's what I think he should do. But what do you think of my theory? If we are using this as a criteria for songs, what song has more artistic value, cultural relevance, commercial ubiquity, and institutional acceptance while doing something profound in both hip-hop culture and popular culture at large? You tell me in the comments, what songs do more? What song is more deserving of most important rap song of all time? I'm sorry, I'm just singing the song in my head. All right, there's the camera.